Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see by the thumbnail and the title, what happens to people with mental health issues in prison? So, if prisoners who have mental health issues, back in the day, they used to be called a Category J. We would refer to them as JCATs, triple CMS, which is Correctional Clinical Case Management Systems. More recently, EOPs, which is Enhanced Outpatient Treatment. Now, the thing about this is on the main line, if you're labeled any of these, you can't program. And some people fly under the radar and end up on a general population yard. And, that can be a big problem for the group as a whole. Okay. So recently, and this is part of the reason why I'm making this video, I've been seeing that recently at Lancaster State Prison, there was an inmate who went to visit his girl, and he basically took a straight razor and he sliced her face and her neck in front of everybody. And, I'm just assuming, it's a JCAT move, basically. I don't know if he's been clinically diagnosed. I don't know if he came off an EOP yard or what the deal is. But, when I was doing time, the visiting room was like, it's off limits, with each other, yet alone with your girl. And, this dude, who's to say how many people he traumatized by doing this? Not only the female, but, people bring their kids, people's girls come, family members, who knows how many people were in that visiting room when this happened. So, this was a really bad look, and I'm sure, it don't matter if he's on an SNY yard, which, triple CMS, EOP, Category J's, like they're all SNY basically. If you're on mental health meds, you're not going to program on the main line. And I'll give you a couple of examples of when I've seen JCATs on the loose, if you will. And, I don't say this to make light of people with mental health issues. I hope if you do have mental health issues that you get some assistance with that and, work on getting better, basically. But I was in Wayside Supermax. This must have been like around 2000 or so. And when back in those days, it was so overcrowded. If you just came in the dorm, you'd be a floor sleeper basically, and they would give you these boat things. They called them boats. Basically, it was like something that you could put on the ground and lay on. And, that was your bed until a bunk became available. So I'm floor sleeping. I took my boat and went under the stairs. In Supermax, if you've been there, if you haven't been there, it's a dorm setting, upstairs, downstairs. And, then there's like picnic tables up towards the front with phones on the side and bars in the front. So I go kind of under the stairs there, just so that there's something above me, gave me a little bit more feeling of security, I guess you would say. But in the middle of the night, I hear someone coming down the steps,
and the deputies were at the bars and they were trying to call this homie over. I think he had some sort of a mental breakdown or something. And, the thing is, this kind of stuff can happen to anybody, especially, take into consideration if you're in the county and you're facing a hot one or something, like your life is over basically. If you're convicted, you're going to do life and you might not see the streets again. So some people crack under the pressure. And this dude, he was all tatted up, big gangster looking fool. And he had like a Bible in his hand and he was ripping out pages and throwing them towards the gate where the deputies were. And he was saying, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. And they're like, come on over here to the gate. And, like I'm waking up to this, like trying to wipe the boogers out of my eyes. And I'm looking like, what the hell is going on over here? And all of a sudden, now in between the dorms, there's doors upstairs and downstairs. And the deputy snuck through the door upstairs and came charging down and ended up tackling the dude and taking him off. And I don't know what happened to him after that, but I'm assuming they sent him over to the Twin Towers because most of the people I heard that there's mental health programs over there and stuff. A lot of people are undiagnosed that are in the system, and it eventually it comes out. Now, I have another example. I was in Riverside County, Robert Presley Detention Center in downtown Riverside, cell living. And there was a wood down the way, and I could hear him just going off, making racial slurs and stuff. And, I'm thinking, what the heck is up with this guy, Another one where, I don't know if he came in that way or if, like if he had been an issue for a while. But the homie got in the vent next door that had the block, and he told me that, next time the doors cracked, they were going to handle that. And handle that they did. Once he came out, they told him he needed to go to the restroom area because he had something coming, and they sent a couple guys in there and they touched him up real good, And, some people may say, well, that's a cowardice way of doing things, attacking somebody that's already got issues to begin with. But you have to look at it this way. Almost everything that's done when you're incarcerated is it's supposed to be for the best interest of the group. Okay. If that's left unchecked, then, you don't know what this guy's going to say. He's a loose cannon basically. And, he may disrespect another race or something, and it could kick off a riot. Then everybody's going to be involved. And like, it's just not a good situation at all. So, it's a dog eat dog world in there. And, I think the best case scenario, if somebody goes to jail and they have mental health issues, they should definitely let them know when they're being screened. That way they can house them appropriately so that they don't have to, deal with the violence that's going to come from that. So, basically, so what happens to inmates that come in with mental health issues, JCATs, triple CMS, EOP, all of the above? For the wood pile, you can't be on mental health meds in GP. That, if you have mental health issues, you have to refuse the meds. And, if your behavior gets out of line, then, if you're lucky, they may tell you to go up there and tell the guard you can't be there. If you're not so lucky, you may get removed either with fist or with weapons. And, it just depends on where you're at and who's there and how the program's being run. Um, if you want to be on those meds, then you have to roll it up, and if you roll it up, then you're going to have an issue coming, basically. So uh, that's kind of what happens with individuals with mental health issues when they are incarcerated. uh, I mean, the thing is, to be honest, when I was out there in the streets using, like, I'm sure I acted like a JCat more than once, like uh, seeing things, peeking out the window, swearing people were coming to get me type of stuff. But, the thing is, once the haze wears off from the illegal drugs, hopefully you come back. If you don't, then you end up in situations with this stuff. So, I mean, the best thing you could do is just not go to jail. You know, if you are addicted to something, then find a meeting or something to help you to get clean and find a better crowd of people to hang around with. That way, because if you're hanging around with a bunch of people that are using, chances are you're going to use too. And don't romance your habit as you are trying to get clean. And what I mean by that is we tend to look back and think of the good times. Change that way of thinking. Look back at the bad times when you didn't have it and you felt like you were going to die, and or you were in handcuffs, or you know missed your kid's birthday party, or whatever it may be. Try to think of it from a mental from try to think of it in the worst light possible, and that it will assist with maintaining sobriety. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. uh, Family, fitness, and freedom are the things that help me to get my life together, and I feel like they can help you as well. Don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.